Hi Gary.
Still here.
Still here.
Injury news?
Well, Reece has been ill, so he hasn't trained today, so he won't make the game tomorrow. Raheem had a little feeling in his hamstring, more tightness than anything, so looking doubtful for tomorrow as well. And Aubameyang has a slight problem with his back, so again he's looking like he'll miss the game. Apart from that, everybody's okay.
Obviously, it would be a nice place for Ngolo to be involved. Going back to Leicester, is he likely to be in the squad this time?
No, he won't. Still needs some more time in terms of build-up. We're aiming maybe towards Everton, but unfortunately not for tomorrow.
You kind of answered this next question in a way by naming a couple of those players from Tuesday who may not be available tomorrow. I was going to say that you seem to have settled on a core of players and a system that you might use going forward. Obviously, things change through injuries and availability. Is that your thinking? And if so, how do you keep those who aren't involved in that core, playing week in, week out, happy?
Well, you just have to do the maths. Only 11 can play, and we've got more than 11, so inevitably they're not going to be happy. There's no point denying that. That's not to say they haven't been really professional, really supportive of the team, and there's always injuries, there's always things that happen. You know, you look at the situation with Cucurella, for example, wasn't in the squad, and then came in against Dortmund and was fantastic and played a really good game and contributed to us winning. So I think the players know that they just have to be ready. That's how football works. Just have to be ready and keep fighting. Make sure when your chance comes, you're in a good position to play.
For example, Ngolo, when he is fit to play, you know, would he automatically get in the starting lineup now? When Thiago Silva's back, maybe not. All these big name players who perhaps haven't got the chance to start they thought they might have.
Well, it's the most important thing for those two is to get them back, injury free, and then the more good players we have, the better. And then it's football deciding in terms of performances and results, and that's where we're at. Obviously, in the back of two good results, but things change, opportunities arise, and we just have to keep working like that.
Raheem out, as you said, so it might be good news for Mudryk. There's reports you've had him into your office to have a chat about the fact he's not hasn't been in the front three the last two games.
Well, yeah, he certainly comes into the equation, absolutely. As a player that we believe in a lot, he's adapting to the new situation. He's, when he arrived, he was in the middle of start of a pre-season campaign, really. So to come in and hit the Premier League run is not so easy to do. But day by day and week by week, he's getting stronger and stronger. So he'll be in the squad tomorrow, and there's a chance that he can play.
And Mason Mount, how do you keep him happy?
Well, he's the same as everybody else. He wants to play. At the moment, he's just suffering with a slight injury, so he probably needs a little bit more time before he's available properly. But he's happy around the place. He wants to help the team. He's absolutely normal with Mason. No change in that. Wants to help. Wants the team to win. Wants to get injury free and play football.
And just finally from me, you said that you had a brief word with the chairman on Tuesday, that you said you're still here. Can you give us any more insight into what he said to you and the players afterwards?
No, not really. It's like he's the chairman, and I've been doing this job for 12 years, and I speak to the chairman pretty much every week for the 12 years I've been doing my job. It's strange that you keep asking me whether I speak to the chairman or not.
I just thought it was such a big night and he looked so happy that half the beer was gone by the time he came out of the dressing room. I wondered what...
Half the beer was gone?
Yeah, he took a glass in.
Okay. He's probably thirsty. Probably thirsty. All that cheering he'd done.
We'll leave it there. Thanks, Gary. Lindsay, PLP.
Hi, Graham. Just on the back three that it seems like you've settled on, do you think that the squad is more geared for that now, and is that going to be a consistent approach?
Well, even in the two games, we've had different back threes. Benoit played against Leeds, and then Mark came in against Dortmund. But we've played that at times this season, and personnel. I mean, Thiago getting injured against Tottenham. meant that we had to obviously adjust things. So at the moment, I think it's suiting us quite well and it's working. So I mean, defensively, as much as everybody's focusing on the other end, and rightly so, because we haven't scored as many goals as we'd like. Defensively, we're up there with one of the best teams in the Premier League. So that's something to be positive about. But clearly, we need to get the other bit right as well, because you need to be balanced. You need to do both sides of the game well. And at the moment, we haven't done it as well as we'd like. But the attacking bit is a little bit more difficult to do than the defending side of things as well. But yeah, consistency always helps.
On that attacking bit, in your experience, we've always heard people saying even if it goes in off their backside, you know, those goals come from different random ways, and then suddenly a flurry can come. In your experience, is that what you're looking for to get confidence?
Well, goals and wins bring confidence. That sounds obvious, but it is. And then it's how you get them. I'm not going to complain if however they come, for sure, because the results have been difficult to deal with recently. But the best way is to play well, the best way is to attack well, the best way is to do the things you want to do, and they result in you and creating chances and scoring goals and winning. That's the best thing. You know, that obviously takes a bit of time, but in the meantime, if you get lucky, I'm absolutely happy with that as well.
I know that Gary was talking about Kante. I wanted to focus on Kovacic because he's been back, and I've often thought that he's been one of the underrated players in the Premier League. I wonder what your sense of him as a player, a person, and influence in this squad is.
Well, he's been the captain of both games, so that tells you something in terms of how influential he is. Fantastic guy, really like him. Determined character, courage. You know, to take the ball in tight situations. He's fantastic. He sees what he's achieved in his career for his national team, for us here at Chelsea. He's an important player for us.
And finally, one on Leicester. They're not going through the best spell themselves at the moment, and Brendan Rodgers under some pressure and scrutiny. But the away form for Chelsea, is this an opportunity now because of the opposition for you to address that?
Well, it's always an opportunity to win, but we have to play well. I think Leicester's results have been worse in their performances. They've been a bit unfortunate as well, I think. They're probably suffering from not the best of starts. I'm sure Brendan would agree with that in terms of results. But they've rallied as well, and they've still got some really, really good players. I have huge respect for Brendan for what he's done there. He's a top coach and a top person, so looking forward to seeing him, and it'll be a tough game.
John Southall, 5 Live.
Great, hello.
Hi.
So 2 wins. Do you feel that a weight has been lifted off your shoulders a bit in the last week, 2 days?
Has the weight been lifted off my shoulders? Yeah, in some way. In some way, I don't think it's something I get too bogged down with. It's always nicer to win, John. It's as simple as that. Everything feels a bit better. Everything feels, like you've taken a step forward. But I'm not getting carried away. It's just 2 wins, so we have to focus on Leicester. And the boys have been in a good place, good spirit. They've stuck together through a bad time, which is good. There's a lot to say about that. But we have to start again against Leicester.
How important was the other night for you, but also for your bond with the supporters? Because I haven't heard a noise like that inside Stamford Bridge for some time.
Yeah, but I think the supporters, as I said, they've been really fair. And they want the team to do well, and results-wise, we haven't done that well. So you understand the criticism, and you understand, it's hard for them to get behind something when the results aren't, great for them to get behind. So it's our job to produce games and produce results, and I think that the performance was a positive one. I think they appreciated that, and I think generally when that's the case, they get behind the team and support the team. So I have nothing to say about how we've been treated with the supporters. They've been great, fantastic.
You must be pleased with Mark Cucurella, weren't you? Because it hasn't been easy for him. Have you had to manage him quite carefully over the last few months?
I wouldn't say over the past few months. I think it got a little bit tricky in terms of him and the impact on the team, really. But at the same time, to try to shield him and wait for the right time to put him in, because I know how good he is. I know his quality. So I thought that the game in the Champions League, especially with Benoit going away, was a good opportunity for him to show his quality, and delighted for him that he did.
And just a final one, there are reports from Inter Milan that they're quite keen for Romelu Lukaku to have another loan spell. I don't know if that's something you'd be happy with, or are you keen to get him back here?
Well, it's nothing for me to think about at the moment. He's there and he's playing. I think those discussions and conversations, the decisions will be made at the end of the season.
Okay, we've got time for 2 more. Simon Johnson, Athletic.
Hey Graham.
Hi, Simon.
Speaking about, going back to Mason, obviously the contract negotiation has been ongoing now for several months. How concerned are you that it's not been done? Are you going to talk to Mason to try and convince him, or are you going to sort of leave it to the club to sort out?
Well, it's ultimately between the club and Mason. But I've spoken to him numerous times about his situation and football and life generally. And like I said, my feelings for Mason are clear. I think he's a fantastic person, firstly, and but sometimes these things happen. They're just complicated, and it's best that I speak little about it and let them get on with it and deciding what's right for both parties.
Have you sort of, perhaps stating the obvious, but have you told Mason how much you want to keep him and be part of your plans?
Yeah, but I'm not naive. I know that it's an important time for him. It's an important contract, and these things have to be right for him and his family, and it's important that he makes that decision on that basis.
Okay, last question today is a special guest of ours, Charlie Butcher. He's here from Make-A-Wish Foundation, and he's got our last question in the broadcast section. Charlie.
Hiya. What do you say to your team to motivate them at half time?
Well, it depends how the game's going, whether they need a bit of a kick up the backside or whether they just need information. But essentially it's to try to help them, try to work out what we've done quite well in the game, what we need to improve, and if we can improve, how we can improve, and then try and convince them that if they do that, then they can win the game. I think that's a summary. Good question though. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. And that's the end of the broadcast section. Cameras off, please.